As a woman, be a villain, okay? I beg, be a villain.
You need to get to a point in your life where you're more afraid of missing out on the life that you actually want than being the villain in someone else's story. Because a lot of women were raised to be, and I'm using quotes here, good girls. And what does that mean? Be nice, be agreeable, be understanding, be accommodating. Don't be too much. Don't make people uncomfortable. And if you do all that, you're told you'll be loved, you'll be chosen, protected. But here's the truth a lot of women are waking up to as early as in their teens and 20s, and for some of us later in life. You can follow every rule and still lose yourself. You can give sacrifice, you can give, you can shrink, you can explain, perform all these gymnastics and still end up overlooked, dismissed, taken advantage of, disconnected from yourself. Because being a good girl was never about your well being, it was about your compliance. And today we're talking about why women are walking away from people pleasing, how self abandonment gets disguised as love, and why choosing yourself might make you the villain, but also free you. Let's get into it.
I just want to say congratulations on becoming the villain, because for a long time people only knew the version of you that said yes, the version of you that showed up no matter what, the version of you that made room for everybody else even when nobody was making room for you. You were the hero then, the helpful one, the giving one, the dependable one, the one that people could lean on to drain, overlook, and then still expect more from. And let's tell the truth, a lot of people don't want a powerful woman, they want a useful one. They love the version of you that overgives, that stays available, that feels guilty for saying no, the version that keeps saving people when they keep making messes of their own life. But the moment you start thinking about your life, your needs, your peace, your purpose, what God gave you to do, now you've changed. Now you're selfish. Now you're the problem. Now the same people who benefited from your lack of boundaries have the nerve to act like you did something wrong because you finally have some. Because that is what happens when people are never attached to you. They're attached to how accessible you are, your help, your yes, your silence, your willingness to put yourself last. So congratulations. Congratulations on becoming the villain to the people who used to love you when you were easy to use. Congratulations on disappointing the version of them that thought your life was supposed to revolve around fixing theirs. Congratulations on finally becoming someone they can't control with guilt. I want to congratulate you because the world act like the villain is the worst thing to be, but I understand that I was only painted as a villain when I became you.
As a woman, be a villain, okay? I beg, be a villain. You're over here worried about trying to be the perfect woman when there is no action that you can take in this world that will remove you from the purgatory that is being a woman. Meaning, it doesn't matter if you are the most empathetic, the sweetest, the kindest, the thinnest, the most richest, the smartest, the most educated, the most hardworking. It doesn't matter. You will never be able to leave the purgatory, the contradiction that it is to be a woman. You will never, okay? They will burn you at the stake for any wrong misstep. Be 10 pounds overweight, you're getting burned. Be 10 pounds underweight, you're getting burned. Say one wrong thing, you're getting burned. Say the right thing, you're getting burned. It doesn't matter. So, be a villain. And I don't mean go out and harm people and do nonsensical things and just go out and spew your rage everywhere. That's not what I mean. What I do mean is be selfish with your time, with your resources, with your heart. Be selfish, because that's what it means to be a villain in this world. A selfish woman is always going to be the villain. So do what you want to do, okay?
Hi, my name is Anne-Marie, and this is how you can become a villain in 2026. You have to put your self-worth over being liked. This will piss people off massively. If they can't use, abuse, or manipulate you, congratulations. You are the villain. If they play in your face, block them. You have to break the invisible contract of believing that kindness equals safety. Stop people pleasing. Being a villain is a matter of perspective. People like to rewrite history when accountability feels too heavy on their part.
Self-abandonment. Yeah, to be the good girl requires self-abandonment, and you were taught that probably from a very early age. You were taught to ignore your needs, override your feelings, rationalize other people's feelings and bad actions, maybe minimize your desires, prioritize everyone else. And after a while, you didn't even know what you like, what you want, or who you are because you've been performing a role for so long. You were also taught overgiving without boundaries, which invites misuse and abuse. When you're always available and always forgiving and always understanding, turning the other cheek, la di da, people don't say, wow, she's amazing. They say, they think, and they show you, she'll tolerate it. And once people believe you will tolerate anything, they start giving you less. Approval, right, Baddie? Approval is a trap that keeps you small. If you live your life based on what will people think, will they approve, will they like me, what do they think of me, you'll always be negotiating yourself. And that means negotiating yourself downwards and out of good things. Because approval requires adjustment, shrinking, contorting, all these gymnastics, editing yourself, right? And the more you do that, the further you move away from your real self. Being safe, and I'm using quotes here, I think you can see them. Being safe means being easy to exploit. I hate that. People say good girls are safe, but safe for who? They're safe to extract from, to take from, to depend on, to overlook, to manipulate, to expect that they'll go with the flow. That kind of safety, it's not protection, it's access without resistance. You don't need to over explain your evolution. You're ascending, you're developing, you're leveling up. At some point, you outgrow the need to justify your choices, explain your boundaries, soften your decisions. At some point, you realize that no is a full sentence. And you don't have to say sorry, but no, sorry, unfortunately, because you realize you are the one who has to live your life, not them. So why are they the ones you're trying to convince? You might be the villain in someone else's story, and that's okay. Because the moment you stop overgiving, stop over explaining, stop over accommodating, someone will say, you've changed. Yes, damn it, I have changed. You have changed. You've stopped abandoning yourself. There's power in becoming self possessed. When you stop performing and start choosing yourself, you become grounded, clear, selective, discerning, hard to manipulate, not because you're cold, but because you're no longer available for misuse. And you're allowed to discover yourself again, or maybe discover yourself for the first time. For a lot of people pleasers who were raised to be people pleasers, a lot of women wake up and realize, I don't even know what I like. I don't know who I am outside of others. Here's a trick to know that you're one of these women. If someone asks you what you like, what you prefer, you always know what you don't prefer, what you don't like, right? Okay, back to the story. It's not a failure to be not knowing what you like or what you don't know outside of others. You just need to discover yourself. It's awareness. And awareness is the beginning of rebuilding your identity on your terms. Okay, to close, you were never meant to spend your life being palatable, acceptable, a safe taste, a crowd pleaser, right? A vanilla perfume. And I've got plenty of them. I don't know why I said that. I've got plenty of vanilla perfumes. I love them. You were never meant to be palatable at the cost of being whole. So if choosing yourself makes you the villain, be the villain. Because at least this time, You don't lose yourself in the story. You are all you have, Baddie. You're welcome. See you next time.